Long division is used to divide polynomials. So if you have a polynomial over some divisor, normally we use the long division algorithm to carry this out. Now there is one case when your divisor is of the form x minus a or x plus a, so it's a linear term. Special case happens. We call this case synthetic division. You can basically use a shorthand notation to divide the polynomial. So what we do is this. I'm going to show you the steps and then kind of write down, what we're doing as we're coming along. The first thing we're going to do is write the division in synthetic form. So here we have an example, x to the fourth minus x cubed minus 2x plus 2 divided by x plus 1. This is your divisor, of course. So when we write something in synthetic form, what we mean is you always want to take the opposite of this number. So if there's a plus 1, you want to write negative 1, write it like that. And on the other side of it, you want to write the coefficients of the dividend. Remember, this is your dividend. So coefficients of your dividend are written on this side. And you always want to go in decreasing order. So the coefficients here, this is 1, this is negative 1, then you have negative 2, and then you have 2. Notice it's going from 4 to 3, but then it goes to 1. So the 0 x squared term is missing. So when you write the coefficients of dividend, you want to actually go in decreasing order. So you write 1, then you write negative 1, then you write 0, negative 2, and then 2. So remember, these are the red terms are your coefficients of your dividend. Then what you want to do is you want to put a line like this. Bring the first term down, so 1. Then you want to multiply this 1 times negative 1 and write the product of it right over here. So 1 times negative 1 is 1. And what you want to do from that part, you want to add these two terms. So negative 1 plus negative 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 multiplied by negative 1 gives you positive 2. And you write that product there. You want to add these two, 0 and 2, so you get 2. And then 2 times negative 1 gives you negative 2. Negative 2, negative 2, if you add them, you get negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 1 gives you positive 4. 2 plus 4 gives you a 6. This term is always your remainder. And what happens here, these give you your coefficients of your quotient. Now how do we know what to start it with? Well, the first one is always a coefficient of 1 degree less than what we started, than our dividend. So if you notice, we started with x to the fourth, right? So the quotient is going to be x cubed. And it's going to be, so it's always 1 degree less. And these are it goes in decreasing order. So it's 1x cubed minus 2x squared plus 2x minus 4. And then we have a remainder of 6. So 6 divided by our divisor, which is x plus 1. So basically our division here, this is your quotient plus your remainder over your divisor. There's another way we can write it. We can also write our polynomial like this. Q of x times d of x plus r. So this another way to write this would be your quotient is x cubed minus 2x squared plus 2x minus 4. Multiply this by your divisor x plus 1 plus 6. So that's just another way we can write this. This is equivalent to this. Let's have a look at another example. Here we have x cubed minus 8 all over x minus 2. So remember, this is your divisor, so you write opposite of that number, which is 2. And then you want to write all the coefficients of the numerator. So you have x cubed, but notice there's 0x squared plus 0x, then minus 8. So we have two missing terms here. So we write the coefficients of them, which happens to be 1, 0, 0, and negative 8. So let's write 1 first, 0, 0, negative 8. Then for synthetic division, what you do is you put a line, you bring your first term down, so bring 1 down, and you always multiply this 1 with, this term here. So 1 times 2 is 2. You always add these two terms. 0 plus 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 0 plus 4 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Negative 8 plus 8 is 0. So this had a 0 remainder, which means this is a factor. So my quotient is always going to be 1 degree less. So we had an x cubed, right? So it's going to be x squared. So it's 1x squared plus 2x plus 4. Notice the 1, the 2, and the 4 are always the coefficients of your quotient. And we have a plus a remainder of 0 over x minus 2, so you know that's equal to 0. So my polynomial here, x cubed minus 8 over x minus 2, is equal to x squared plus 2x plus 4, or if you write it another way, you can write this way. X minus 2x squared plus 2x plus 4. So you have your divisor times your quotient plus your remainder, which is 0 in this case. So that's just another way to write it. If we look at another example here, 3x to the 5th minus 2x cubed plus x squared minus 7. What I want you to notice here is this is going from 5 to 3, so there's a 4th term missing. And then x cubed, x squared, and there's a linear term missing. So we have 2 terms that are missing here. So first thing, I'm going to write the opposite of that number, which is going to be negative 2. And then the coefficients, which is 3, 0, negative 2, 1, 0, negative 7. So these are the coefficients that I'm writing down. And then put a line across. The first one goes down. 3 times negative 2 gives you negative 6. Write that over here. Add these two terms. 0 plus negative 6 is negative 6. Negative 6 times negative 2 is 12. Add these two terms. 12 minus 2 is positive 10. 10 times negative 2 is negative 20. So you get negative 19. Negative 19 times negative 2 is 38. 0 plus 38 is 38. 38 times negative 2 is negative 76. So if you add negative 76 and negative 7, you get negative 83. And of course, the last term is always your remainder. And these, of course, are coefficients of quotient. So our 3x to the 5th minus 2x cubed plus x squared minus 7 divided by x plus 2 is equal to, it's always 1 degree less. So this is, the first coefficient here is 3. So you get 3 x to the 4th minus 6x cubed plus 10x squared minus 19x plus 38 minus 83 over your divisor, which is x plus 2. So if you notice, this is your quotient, this is your remainder, and this is your divisor. And another way we can write this polynomial, only if they ask you to, this is really a skill we use in another section, is you can write your quotient, which is 3x to the 4th minus 6x cubed plus 10x squared minus 19x plus 38 times your divisor, which is x plus 2, minus your 83. So that's your quotient times your divisor plus your remainder. It's just another form of it. Let's have a look at another example. Here you have 2x to the 5th plus 3x squared plus 12 all over x cubed minus 3x minus 4. Now if they're just asking you to divide, remember it's so tempting to do synthetic division, but notice this is not a linear term. This is not an x minus a or x plus a term. So guess what? Synthetic division cannot be performed on this. So the only way to do this is long division. There is no other way. So synthetic is just a nice short way in case your denominator happens to be a linear term. So for this one, the only way to do it is you write your dividend like this. And I also still just do any missing term. So I have, 0x to the 4th here. Then I have 0x cubed here. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and then we have the linear term missing here also. So you have plus 0x to the fourth plus 0x cubed plus 3x squared plus 0x plus 12. And we're dividing this by x cubed minus 3x minus 4. So long division, what do you have to multiply to x cubed to get 2x to the fifth? That would be 2x squared, right? 3 plus 2 gives you 5. When you have exponents, you add when you have multiplication. So here we end up with 2x to the fifth. Then if you do, so that was this times this, if you do this times this, you get negative 6x cubed. So you want to write under the proper term. Do you see how you have x to the fourth? We really want to write on the x cubed. So you get negative 6x cubed. And then when you do this times this, you get negative 8x squared. So write them down underneath the proper terms, and then you want to change the sign, so this becomes negative, this becomes positive, this becomes positive. So 2 minus 2, of course, is 0. 0x to the fourth, I'm going to bring this term down in case I need it. And then you have 0 plus 6x cubed, so that's 6x cubed. Then you have 3 plus 8, which is 11x squared, plus 0x plus 12. Same thing here. Since this is 0, you can kind of ignore it. 6x cubed, you want to ask yourself, what do you have to multiply to x cubed to get 6x cubed? That would be plus 6. So you get 6x cubed. The next term would be 6 times negative 3x, which is negative 18x. So write it underneath the proper term. And then you have 6 times negative 4, which is negative 24. Change the signs. This becomes negative, positive, positive. So you get 6 minus 6, which is 0. So bring this term down. That's 11x squared. 0 plus 18 is 18x. 12 plus 24 is 36. Notice this is 1 degree less than this. So therefore, we're done. That's your remainder term. And this is your quotient. So our division algorithm, 2x to the fifth plus 3x squared plus 12 divided by x cubed minus 3x minus 4 is equal to 11x, quotient is equal to 2x squared plus 6 plus 11x squared plus 18x plus 36 all over x cubed minus 3x minus 4. That's one version of it. Another version of it, of course, you can write this as 2x to the fifth plus 3x squared plus 12 is equal to your quotient, which is this, times your divisor, which is this, plus your remainder. So this is your quotient, your divisor, plus your remainder. Okay. Let's do another example. Here we have 2x cubed minus x plus 3 divided by x minus 1. For this one, you can, do synthetic division. You get 1 here. And then notice you have 0x squared missing here. So x cubed, x squared, x, and then 3. So you get 2, 0, negative 1, and 3. Bring your 2 down. Multiply. 2 times 1 is 2. Add. 2 times 1 is 2. Negative 1 plus 2 is positive 1. 1 times 1 is 1. And then so you get 3 plus 1, which is 4. So what we end up with here is 2x cubed minus x plus 3 divided by x minus 1 is equal to, it's always 1 degree less than that, so it'll be a quadratic, 2x squared plus 2x plus 1 plus 4 divided by x minus 1. That's your remainder. Or if we write it in the other form, this is 2x cubed minus x plus 3 is equal to 2x squared plus 2x plus 1 times x minus 1 plus 4. Quotient, divisor, plus remainder.